For most of us, we've already realized that you can never ever satisfy or please a narcissistic gang stalker. We've realized from experience that every attempt to satisfy or placate these insatiable creatures will just lead you on a mission impossible. But for those of you who haven't realized it yet, for those of you who continue to run on this hamster wheel to try to satisfy, please, placate these insatiable creatures, I created this video especially for you on today. So come on, let's take a walk. Let's talk regarding these narcissistic gang stalkers. So, a narcissistic gang stalker is the epitome of a walking, talking, empty meat suit. It is a soulless creature that occupies a body. But get this, there is something that fuels this soulless creature. There is something that excites it, that gets it out of bed every morning, that sort of keeps it happy. And so, what is that fuel that's coursing through the veins of these soulless creatures? Well, this fuel consists of numerous lusts, diverse desires, a healthy dose of envy and jealousy, and a sprinkle of entitlement. And so, what emerges in this soulless creature we call the narcissistic gang stalker? What emerges is a soulless creature that covets everything it sees. And everything it sees is everything it wants. And everything it wants is everything that it has to have. Why? Because in the mind of a narcissistic gang stalker, they're entitled. The world owes them something just because they're here. But the Bible warns that we shouldn't covet our neighbors' goods, houses, lands, spouses, families. We shouldn't covet any of the goods of our neighbors. But the narcissistic gang stalker, these insatiable creatures, they have to covet because their desires knows no end. You see, a narcissistic gang stalker in their world, their upside down world, everything is transactional. Everything is in black and white. There is no color. There is no gray. People are just objects, a means to an end. They place everyone in the same category as someone that they can use and get something out of. They place everyone in the category or the label of supply. You see, in the narcissistic gang stalker's world, they have a demand, and we were created to be their supply. And they know that all of your running on the hamster wheel, all of your giving and trying, that it will just lead you down a road of futility. They know that all of your efforts, that they're never going to reciprocate. They're never going to meet you halfway. They're never going to give anything back to you. They're going to stand there and gladly take everything that you have to give until you're exhausted and you can't give anymore. You see, with a narcissistic gang stalker, you will never receive your return on your investment. Never. A narcissistic gang stalker is like pouring into a bucket with holes in it. No matter how much you try to fill it up, eventually everything that you pour into it is going to leak out. And when someone is as empty on the inside as a narcissistic gang stalker, you can't expect them to give you what they don't have. They will never be able to reciprocate. They will never be able to meet your desires. They will never be able to give you what you want. They will never be able to match your efforts because they have nothing inside of them. And nothing from nothing equals what? It equals nothing. And they know this. They know this. You see, narcissistic gang stalkers are like energy vampires. They are energy vampires. They drain your energy. They drain you dry. They bankrupt your soul. And then guess what? In their world, they have the right to discard you and move on to the next object that's going to supply their needs. You see, they look to the outside to try to replenish what's not on the inside. And so they're forever looking to be satisfied, to be placated, to be pleased. And it drives them so much that they don't think about anyone else. This is the force that drives them. The Bible describes these soulless creatures as the four things that are never satisfied. The four things that always cry more, 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 and never know when to say enough. Who does that sound like to you? A narcissistic gang stalker. So why do you keep putting in your efforts? Why do you keep running yourself ragged, trying to please these insatiable creatures, knowing that you're not going to get anything in return? And if you don't know it, you're going to know it today. They have nothing to give you. When you purchase a ticket to the train to Narcland, you're purchasing a train that's going nowhere. And you will spend a lifetime going nowhere, trying to please someone who could care less about pleasing you. But let's get back to what the scripture says. In Proverbs 30:15-17, there are four things that are never satisfied: the grave, the barren womb, the earth that is not filled with water, and the all-engulfing fire. When you enter the upside-down world of the narcissistic gang stalker, you are setting yourself up to deal with the four things that are never satisfied, the thing that cries more, 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 that never knows enough, and that will never know when to say enough is enough.